Pepe holders, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys as always. If you have not subscribed yet, guys, what are you waiting for? Hit that red subscribe button and come join the Crypto ZX army. But yeah, let's take a look at what's happening. Shout out to you guys, for showing tremendous amount of love on yesterday's update. We got a lot to discuss. So if you like Pepe and you are a holder, you do want to watch this till the absolute end. So looking across the board at this point, again, if you do follow the channel on a regular day-to-day basis, you guys know what's happening. We did see, the tariffs once again kind of cause a little bit of a negative price action, for the overall market. And you can see across the board, majority of the altcoins are down. If you're looking at Pepe, it's down about 2%. Just a quick reminder, on the weekly time frame, Pepe is up 12.8%. A lot of people were not happy with, what I was discussing in the yesterday's update, where I was indicating, that Pepe is showing bullish strength. And, the comments overall, right now, number one thing that a lot of people are neglecting is, retail interest is nowhere near as, what we have seen in the past. So, of course, you do expect, more negativity coming during such uncertain times. But let's take a look at, what's happening and whether or not my, overall opinion has shifted. But before we do that, as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in cryptocurrency. So looking at the price, 85.28, still about $5 in front of the price, down 2.2% in USD, down 0.7% in Bitcoin, but we're actually up about 1% in Ethereum comparative valuation, 3.6 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume, keep an eye on that, $1.1 billion. So even though we did see a market retracement, due to the tariffs, especially for Bitcoin, and dominance, went up, you're still looking at Pepe holding up amazingly. And, so far, whatever I discussed yesterday, and again, you guys know, I am, someone that, keeps it 100% real. And I share what I personally think is true. And I really do indeed think still, that, Pepe's price is looking bullish because of the fact that you are seeing the way it's currently holding. Amazing. Yes, it's not seeing all-time highs because, people only want to see all-time highs before they start, partying around or jumping around. No, that's not the case. The fact that it's up 70% over the course of the last few days is something that you just cannot ignore. It is something that, is worthwhile noting, and it's where, credit does belong. And you can see this for yourself, 417,000 holders. Of course, something that, we have been used to seeing, increasing day in, day out. But again, going back to what I've discussed with you guys yesterday, of course, the entire market is going to react, to, Bitcoin retracement today and, of course, the tariff announcement. But yet you're still seeing the overall, meme coin category up 2.1%. What does this show? I indicated to you guys yesterday in the Pepe update that, we're seeing meme coins actually outpacing utility projects. And as of now, I still agree with that. Despite seeing a pullback over the last 24 hours. But overall, in a grand scheme of things, you are seeing, the likes of these meme coins actually outpacing. So are we about to see a meme coin mania happening once again? Are we due for that? Because, of course, meme coins have dropped 70-80% depending on, which meme coin you're looking at. So are we about to see a reversal? We'll see what happens. But, of course, right now is something that, we shouldn't be ignoring. But look at it. Pepe's volume speaks for itself, outpacing more than double of Shiba Inu. And I still agree with my overall take, again, my own personal opinion, that, I think we are going to see the flipping happening, sooner than a lot of people expect. Maybe it might not happen in tomorrow. If we did come close, there was a time where we came very close, but I do believe it will happen based off of just, the interest that we're seeing, the narrative. Narrative, something that, a lot of people ignore, but not on this channel. We're not ignoring that. But looking at the Bitcoin price, you guys can see this for yourself. The dominance, again, I mentioned this in my HBAR update if you did watch that. If not, you did see me talk about how dominance was pulling down yesterday, but every single update, whether it's HBAR update, whether it's XLM, Caspa, XRP, whatever the case may be, I've talked about dominance every day. And I was trying to tell you guys, how dominance, even though it has pulled down, it's still really high. And, things can change in a snap because, when the dominance is this high, and there we have it. When the tariff announcement came out, dominance skyrocketed up to 61.84%. The BTC right now, of course, we did see that reaction to the tariff down to 85,800, but a beautiful bounce back up. Bitcoin is pretty much, claiming back to, where it was prior to that announcement. So is the market really kind of shifting away from the tariff, scares? But again, we'll see what happens as more time goes by. But as of now, this a Bitcoin upwards trajectory is still intact and we're still in this upwards trend. But with that said, Pepe is looking amazing right now. You can see this for yourself. We went up to the 91.59 cents for the first time since February 24, so over a month. One thing I want you guys to realize, and yes, I agree with my overall take still. I've said this 1,000 times. I know a lot of people are like, this guy sounds like a broken record, but it's really important. I still agree with my overall take that, we are still in this upwards trajectory right now for Pepe. And of course, we did see a little bit of a retracement, obviously due to, the overall market reacting. But, again, just a continuous reminder from, March 10th, we are still up after a retracement about 62.1%. So, of course, we're being supported by significant amount of support, obviously dating back to April of last year, almost, approaching a year since, we were at those prices. But I like what I'm seeing. Of course, the target is still the same, 1045. I still do believe we could get there, quite fast. And if that is able to break out, I really do believe, we could start seeing some excitement coming into these meme coins. Again, one step at a time. Obviously, if you want to put this into perspective in terms of an all-time high, we are about a 228% move from where we currently are towards an all-time high. Let's take it one step at a time. Let me know down below what you guys think. But so far, so good. Like what I'm seeing here, considering, what has happened for the overall market. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.